Was before Fidel Castro's resignation last week. Instead, they insist we could be on the brink of another mass migration crisis. And tonight, they're urging federal and local governments to prepare.
Presidente del Consejo de Estado y del Consejo de Ministros, Raúl Castro Ruz.
One day after the expected announcement was made before the country's National Assembly, Cuban scholars painting a grim picture of a second Castro regime.
I think the time clock started ticking yesterday.
Cuba expert Dr. Andy Gomez of the University of Miami's Institute of Cuban and Cuban American Studies fears desperation has reached a near boiling point on the island nation among the disenfranchised Cuban youth. Nothing has changed, he says. Basically, it's the same president. With their demands for democracy and change going obviously unanswered Sunday, it's only a matter of time before they take matters into their own hands.
It's possible also that the Cubans, fed up, will jump in the streets and try to defy the system.
But a scenario that would affect us all here in South Florida, they believe is much more likely.
So the likelihood, I think, is more so of trying to get out of the island than try to change from within.
Dr. Gomez goes as far as saying another Mariel-like mass migration could be only 6 months to a year away.
I think it could be much larger than Mariel.
It's a frightening scenario threatening to overwhelm South Florida and lead to a 1980s-like humanitarian crisis that has long been feared and planned for on the local, state, and federal level. Last year, agencies even staged a mock drill at sea to test preparedness.
And the goal of the plan that we have in place is to have a 95% interdiction rate at sea.
But despite all the planning, Gomez believes we're as vulnerable as ever.
Our resources are stretched all over the world. This administration or the next administration, whether Republican and Democrat, needs to address this possibility.
Why? Here's Cuban migration by the numbers. Some experts argue a slow mass exodus has been underway for years. In just the last 77,000 Cubans have arrived in the U.S. Since the year 2000, more than 191,000 have migrated. That's more than Mariel and the rafter crisis of the 90s combined. An average 38,000 make it to our shores every year. Live at the news desk, Diane Fernandez, 7 News.